Standing behind a flimsy plastic barrier at a scorching summer air show, wiping sweat from my forehead, I raised my hand toward the flight line. The master of ceremonies glanced at my sundress and delivered a quick joke into his live microphone. Over 3,000 spectators burst into laughter at my expense. Within 90 seconds, 4 fighter jets banked sharply off course, and a pilot voice boomed over the loudspeakers ordering an immediate abort because I had signaled the danger. To understand how a woman standing in summer sandals ended up redirecting a formation of military aircraft midair, you have to look at my childhood dinner table. Growing up, my parents had a habit of focusing all their praise on a single child at a time. My younger sister Chloe was the golden child of our family, boasting perfect blonde hair, a camera-ready smile, and a high-profile job as a local television weather presenter. My mother introduced her to absolute strangers, as if she had personally single-handedly conquered the world. Meanwhile, I quietly built a long career as a high-ranking officer in the military, flying combat jets before moving into high-level flight safety oversight. My daily responsibilities involved reviewing high-risk demonstration routes to keep pilots alive. Yet my mother never once included my achievements in her proud family updates. When Chloe hosted a small community event, my parents framed the newspaper clipping. When I received a Distinguished Service Medal for preventing a catastrophic fleet accident, my mother simply asked me to pass the dinner rolls. My father was not overtly hostile, but his complete indifference cut much deeper than active unkindness. He once told me after a long overseas deployment that I did not need public praise because I had always been naturally capable. He believed my sister required all the family encouragement, while I could manage completely fine in silence. He meant it as a compliment, but it felt like a permanent dismissal. The only person who ever truly cared about my career was my maternal grandfather, a retired aircraft mechanic who always treated me with genuine respect. The breaking point arrived 8 months before the air show during my sister-lavish engagement party at an upscale country club. I had just landed after working 40 straight hours on a critical flight investigation, running entirely on caffeine and pure exhaustion. When my father introduced me to a retired military official, he casually described my intense career as minor office paperwork. Standing in my party dress with a warm drink, I decided right then that I would stop using words to prove my worth. The opportunity arrived when my mother bought family tickets to a massive regional air show where Chloe was filming a live broadcast segment. What my family did not know was that I sat on the official safety board evaluating that exact aerial demonstration. 2 weeks prior, I had formally flagged a severe atmospheric hazard along the low-altitude flight path, but an eager civilian coordinator had dismissed my written warning. I showed up that morning with my official credentials hidden inside my purse, fully aware that the flight path contained a dangerous flaw. As predicted, strong coastal wind currents suddenly shifted right when the jet formation entered its lowest. Pass over the tarmac. The lead pilot on that team happened to be a commander I had previously trained alongside during an extensive safety exercise. When ground personnel relayed that a credentialed safety officer was signaling a hazard from the crowd, he did not hesitate. His sudden radio command was accidentally routed straight through the main public address system, broadcasting his sharp abort order across the entire stadium. I watched the announcer face instantly change as he realized the woman he had just publicly mocked was actually commanding the airspace. My mother gasped in shock. My sister stopped her live broadcast mid-sentence, and my father stood frozen while staring at me like I was a total stranger. The flight lead safely maneuvered his formation away from the danger zone before landing his aircraft. He immediately marched over to the announcer booth and publicly explained over the microphone that Major Ellison had rightfully saved the entire demonstration. The announcer was forced to apologize to me live in front of the entire crowd of 3,000 people. But the real satisfaction came from looking at my parents, who were holding their event programs in complete silence. My mother finally asked why I had never explained the true nature of my work to them before. I looked her in the eye and gently replied that I had been telling them for over 30 years, but nobody had ever bothered to pay attention or ask a single meaningful question. In the weeks following that afternoon, the internal dynamic of our family quietly began to shift. My mother started mentioning my official rank when talking to neighbors, stumbling awkwardly over the words, as if learning a brand new language. My sister sent me a cautious text message asking if I really had the authority. to order fighter pilots around midair. I chose to wait a full day before responding, realizing I no longer felt any urgent need to make everyone else comfortable. My professional career continued to advance, rapidly as I was assigned to an elite, permanent safety command. I found myself sitting in important strategy meetings alongside senior leaders who respected my expertise and listened to every word I said. My father eventually called me on the phone, trying his best to express how proud he felt despite his limited emotional vocabulary. I thanked him sincerely, but I noticed that the desperate hunger for his approval had completely vanished from my heart. My grandfather still asks me detailed technical questions about my work every single time we speak on the phone. I take the time to answer him in full detail, because he was the only family member who was ever curious enough to earn those answers. Looking back, that arrogant airshow announcer unintentionally gave me the greatest gift of my life. He created a public moment so undeniable that my family was forced to finally see who I truly was all along.